reception. So I really hope you enjoyed reading our story, Charlie Cook's favourite book, yesterday. We're going to have a little bit of a fun literacy session today where we're going to have a play around with some words, okay? So I'm going to be talking to you about something called alliteration. Can you say that? Alliteration. Alliteration. Well done. So alliteration is when you have either the same sound or the same letter at the beginning of words that are in a row. So if we have a look at the title, Charlie Cook's favourite book, see what I notice? This word here begins with a k, and this word here begins with a k or a c, which is its letter name. So this one begins with a c, and this begins with a c. So that is alliteration because two words in a row begin with the same letter. And actually, if we have a look in the book, there's actually a lot more alliteration going on. So I'm going to write Charlie Cook on the top, so we found our first bit of alliteration in the story. So Charlie Cook, that is alliteration because both words begin with the letter C sound. Okay, so they both begin with the letter C. Now let's have a look and see what other alliteration we could find in the story. Here we go, a really easy one. Now you'll know this character really well. Baby Bear. Now Baby Bear has alliteration because baby begins with a B and bear begins with a B. That's right, so if we write that down, we've got baby, which begins with a B, and bear, which begins with a B. So that is a case of alliteration because they both begin with a B. Shall we see if we can find some more characters in the story that have alliteration in their names? Let's see. Already on the next page, there is some more alliteration. The knight in this story is called Sir Percy Pilkington. Percy Pilkington. That is alliteration, isn't it? Because Percy begins with a P and Pilkington begins with a P. So if I write that down, they will start with the same letter, won't they? Well done. So Percy begins with a P and Pilkington begins with a P. Well done if you spotted that. Now I think there might be another bit of alliteration on the next page. Can any of you think of another character in the story that has alliteration in their name before I show you? Well done if you said Rowena Read-a-Lot. Rowena Read-a-Lot. Rowena Read-a-Lot. Rowena Read-a-Lot. Rowena begins with a R and Read-a-Lot begins with a R. So if I write that down, they're going to start with the same letter. That's right. So they have the same sound at the beginning of each of her names. It's the letter R, the R sound. Rowena Read-a-Lot. And look, because it's her name, it looks a little bit different because it has to start with a capital letter when it's her name, okay? So Rowena Read-a-Lot. So we have found in the book 4 different names that have alliteration in them. We've got Charlie Cook, Baby Bear, Percy Pilkington, and Rowena Read-a-Lot. Now, our task that we are setting you today is to have a little bit of fun with alliteration. Instead of Charlie Cook's favourite book, we want you to come up with a title including your name and alliteration before the words favourite book. So if I was to make my own one. So if I was doing Miss Hush's one, we'll just call me Hush for now to make it easier. I've got to think of a word that begins with the H sound, because my name begins with the H sound. Hush, hush. So I need another word that begins with H, so that there's alliteration in my names, in my title. Okay, so let me have a think. Happy Hush. Happy Hush. So look, if I write Happy Hush's favourite book, I have used alliteration to come up with that title for the story. Happy Hush's favourite book. So I want you to go away and have a think, what letter or sound does your name begin with? So if it was Bill, it would begin with a B. If it was Sarah, it would begin with a S. And what you've got to do is think of some alliteration, another word that you can put in front or behind your name to make your name have alliteration. Okay, so if it was Bill, you might be Bendy Bill's favourite book, because Bendy begins with a B and Bill begins with a B. If it was Sarah, you could have Silly Sarah's favourite book, because Silly begins with a S and Sarah begins with a S. Okay, so whatever your name begins with, I want you to think of another word that begins with the same sound or letter as the initial sound in your name, and then you're going to change it into your favourite book. I can't wait to see what ideas you come up with. I hope you have lots of fun doing it. Okay, bye!